Right, here we have a digital clock kit. I've got another radio and some walkie-talkies I want to build, but let's have a change of scenery. So again, this was 6-8 quid, something like that. I'll put it in the description. Built a couple of these before. I think I've had one with the case though, so got a video somewhere. Some of the LEDs didn't work. I don't know whether it was the LEDs or by soldering or what, but they will take a while. So we've got a little battery in there. That's probably for the memory function when it's not connected. So there's our PCB. Again, nice PCB. Huge bag of parts. Display chips are just taped together and they put the display in foam. Why can't they put the chips in foam? Everything else just running loose as per normal. Circuit tester will come in handy for that. Here's our LEDs. I could go through my packets and change the colours out, I guess. I think I'd rather have green in the hours instead of red, to be fair. And the power cable, it's the old school funny shape. And then our case, I don't know whether, yeah, it does look like it's got some sort of coating on it. So there's the middle part. So I'll get this sorted, we'll come back. Right, I've got a few of these green incandescent LEDs blue tacked on, so we'll solder those in. Right, you can see the red and blue supplied LEDs in the bag. I've decided the reds are going to be green, so I've got the 3 and the 9 that will be waiting to go in. I'll have to take it out of this holder, probably use the claws. So I'll start putting in what I'm changing for the clear blues instead of the blues they supplied. This battery's nearly dead, but it's got enough in it to test each one manually. This battery's on its way out. This is one I took out the computer, but it kept crashing, so I've changed the hard drive for an older one. So again, long leg positive, positives marked on the board, and just slot them in. But it's time consuming when you have to, where we just put a bloody battery, test each one. There we go, that's working. So I'm going to go every other one. On the outside, isn't it? Yeah. Of course we can put them in the component tester. The reds are 1.97 volts, the greens are 1.97 volts. See what these blue ones are. But if, yeah, that'll be. That's 2.7 volts. It also tests the LED as well. So we'll get some blue tack on those. We'll get a few more of those in and we'll come back. Okay, so we've got a bunch of the clear blues in around here. I'll get these last few accessible ones here and here. We'll turn the board round, we'll do the bottom side, and then we'll possibly have to change how we're holding the board or change holders. Right, that's just half of the board done. We'll just do that half after I've fed the dog his last meal of the day, and then we'll get these little corner bits done once we've populated the rest of the board. Right, that's all of the LEDs except for the 4 or 5 on each side here. So we'll start populating the rest of the board. I think we'll possibly pop that LED module in next, to be fair. Yeah, why not? What else we got on the other side? Yeah, we can go ahead with that. Right, making sure you get the dots on the LED board in line with the LED dots on the silk screen. So that's, apart from the remaining LEDs, that's this side of the board complete. We've got the time screen module. I peeled the cover off, it was on there quite tight, so I peeled it before we soldered on. So now we have to populate this side of the board. So we've got a bunch of 330R resistors and there's two 10Ks somewhere. There they are, up here. Not sure what RM is. It's on the website. Two switches. Let's have a look at RM. RM thermistor. I've got thermistor up there as TR. RM. Okay. So RM is the thermistor, which is the older. There's one there. It's got plus or minus on it, but we haven't got any other indication as to what it's for. Could that be the power in? What's that? F's the buzzer, or speaker, pizza buzzer, whatever. B will be the battery, 1220. If I had another one of those, we could get the plane going. So, yeah, okay, let's crack on. Right, I'm just going to do this in the order it comes out of the bag, to be fair. So this is an orange, brown, gold resistor. And I've just checked it, and that will be 330. So we'll just start. There's one of them down there. So we'll start with the 330s, R1, R2 and R3. I have to check each one because they're all separate. And we've got two 10Ks in here, orange, brown, gold. R2. What's this? Brown, black, orange, gold. So that's going to be the 10K. Let's test it. (9601 ohms, 10K). So those two go up here, R9 and R10. I think the other one's 10K as well. Orange, brown, gold, no it isn't. This is a 330, so we'll have that in R3. We'll get those down. So GM was the thermistor. We're going to do RM, which is the, sorry, GM here is the photoresistor, and now we're going to do RM, which is the thermistor. So one does light, one does temperature. I did put it in the component tester and press hold of it with my fingers, and it loses lots of resistance when you heat it up, and then it gains the resistance when you let it cool down. It's about 10-14K I think it's coming out at. This LED is really in danger. I've already scraped it a couple of times with the soldering iron. Yeah. Right, in the last parts grab we had a capacitor. Oh, that's alright. Which is a 10 underlined, so we don't think it's an 01. And that will be C1, C2, a 10p chip capacitor. So there's C1. So we'll get this one in first because it's the one we found first. Oh, it's where we made our first mistake. The fucking chip's in the way now. We should have put that LED on last, because there's a couple of bits. Oh, we haven't got to desolder that. That's going to be a right cock. Right, I didn't have instructions with this kit, or I didn't find any anyway, and I can't find too much online. There is a component list here, and so here's a quick look at the parts list. I had to screen grab this off Temu. Not much else. So what I'm going to have to do is, because they've got pads on both sides of the board, is actually solder these to the top of the board. Like so. So we're going to have to get ourselves out of a world of pain. But, as you can see, the solder pads are on both sides of the board. So that will get us out of most of the trouble we're in. Thankfully. Oh, that could have been a right arse. Okay, so we've got a chip here. I'm not going to do the chip holders again, I'm just going to go straight onto the board with the chip. So goalpost notch up this end, goalpost notch in the chip up this end, which is operate up to start with. That side's fitting quite well, that side's miles out. We can try and roll these on a flat surface and bend them in a bit. Make sure you get the notch the right way again. Re-operate. There we go, she's in. And it looks like it's going to hold. So behind the, it's very close to that LED, so I'm going to try and solder those in first. Don't want to spend too long on one side because you don't want to overheat the chip, which is why they have a chip holder, but it's just twice as much solder. Well, it's not twice as much soldering, but chip holders are a pain in the arse half the time. Right, that's the chip on. Goalpost, so we're good there. Right, so what should we do next? Let's see what comes out anyway. There's the little chip, we're going to have to surface mount the little chip as well. Right, goalpost to goalpost. Look at that, straight in. I gave it a little squeeze and got it bang on. Oh, it's out. Yeah, right, okay, so we're going to have to solder this one on the surface anyway. Oh, that's bent one of the pins now. That side's looking pretty good. Let's get this side done. So that's the chip soldered on from above. Orange, brown, gold. So that'll be another 330. More bits. Orange, brown, gold. So we'll get that one over here. So that's R11. R5 and R4 330R, a 9012 triode or transistor. Make sure you get the flat side with the silk screen diagram. That will sit in by itself, pain in the arse to solder. And that one's done. Now we've got, I'll take the dog for a walk in a minute, another 10p C2. That goes up here. This one will go through the board. Oh, that's close. Right. Orange, brown, gold. That's another 330. R6, R7 and R8 are all 330s. Brown, black, orange, gold is a 10k. So that'll be the other one up here, R10. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So it should be a 330 by default, orange, brown, gold. That'll be R7. We've just got to find R8. Like I find an R8, preferably an Audi. Nicely done. So that's what we've got so far. And there's the other side of the board, lots of soldering showing through on the time side. We have a lot of the components. It'd be better if a lot of these components were on the front of the board. We could have done that. I might buy another one. Instead of soldering this lot on the back, we'll put it through the front and solder it on. So we actually get more of the components on the front side of the clock. Those two resistors could have gone on the front side. That transistor could have gone on the front side. That'd be fun actually. Right, we've got a positive on the label of the buzzer, so that will match with the positive on the board. Right, that's all the components that came out of the bag so far, apart from the battery buzzer thing. We could put that in place, I suppose. It's quite a simple one, this. Lock it in to where you like it. And just put gargantuan amounts of solder. Like so. That is a gargantuan, oh, missed you. There's a gargantuan amount of solder. And like so. So that's the battery holder in place. You ain't going nowhere. So we've got the USB, we're not sure what that is. We've got the crystal, 2 switches. I need to figure out what that is. There's no marking for it apart from plus or minus, so I reckon we could get battery in there, but we're obviously going to get voltage out if we try measuring it when it's wired up. So I'm going to go and take the dog for a walk and then we'll crack on. Right, so I'm just getting some more LEDs in. I've got the speaker on. Hopefully I've got that on camera before. Almost there. Sherlock! Come here. Sherlock! In your bed. In your bed. And that is all the LEDs soldered in. So there we have it. Let's get this off. Right, so as you can see, all the hour points are now got a green LED. Everything in between is a clear blue. It was red and blue before. Nearly all the soldering's done. Got the power block, 2 switches and 1 resistor, I think. Oh, and the quartz crystal. So only a few bits left to do. That's what the board looks like at the moment. So we'll get back on with it. Right, the camera won't focus in any closer. So let's get this little USB soldered on. It's going to be a right pain in the arse. These are really tiny close, these pins. Should have got my little heat gun out and used solder paste on those. Unless you want to get tons of the stuff in. These are the anchor points. Like that. Really flood those. There we go. So that's those two. Well, that's those, yeah, 2 posts anchored in. The 3 and the row of 3 and 2 pins have been soldered on successfully. Oh, I hate those tiny little bits. So that's the USB power in. Let's get this other resistor in. Okay, good enough. So now we can put on the crystal oscillator. Looks like it lays down. And because it's underneath again, we're going to have to solder from the top. Which is okay. That is good enough. 2 switches, and then it's just putting it all together. Right, now insert the battery. Batteries in. That is everything now soldered on. So let's plug it in and check it out. I'm going to have to cover this up because, there we go, I've got too much light going. So, I don't know, I haven't tested if they're all working yet. They appear to be so far. No, there's one missing. Okay, so all in, I've now buggered 2 of them. So we had 59 working and we've now got 58 working. The temperature is way off. It's like 9.2 according to my other thermometer in here, not 17. It's like 5 to 10 at night, it's not 17. So I haven't set it. So it's like, I can't remember what that is, there's so many presses. 0 is off, 1 is on, whatever those are. I think that's the light resistant thing. So if we put bright light onto that photo resistor, as you can see, we've got dim, and we've got bright, dim, bright. So it is dimming out. We can go back through those settings. The second 00 is the auto dim dip. So I haven't bothered setting the right time, but 1641. It thinks it's 17C. So that's the electronic clock kit. What we have to do now is put it in its case, which will be dead simple. It's literally a case of these buttons sit inside here. This sits in this case. That gets screwed down with one of my little screwdrivers. So basically, oh, they're not going to play ball. So basically the PCB screws down to that case. Somehow. Aha, buttons. One day I'll make one of these clocks and all the LEDs will work. Right, that's now on the base plate. We don't really need to peel that off, it just makes the beep really annoying loud. So that basically goes inside the orange case like so. I don't think it really matters which side it goes in. 4 screws into these corners, same with the front cover, and you're done. This seems to be countersunk as well. Right, and there we have the finished product. Let's plug it back in. There we have the finished product. 1649, so that battery has been holding its whatever was last set into it. So that's it. Simple as. Not a bad little kit. Like I say, that beeps a lot quieter if you don't peel that off. Set the right time, what is it? 10:01 I reckon. But you can't press and hold, so you've got to have the annoying beep. Oh shit, got past. Right, here we have the finished clock. Every 3 seconds you get that annoying temperature. Or every so many seconds. There we go, you'll have that for 3 seconds. Now it's fluctuating between 13, 12, 13, 14. It's actually 14.4 in here. So when it was on to 13, it did actually settle down. Now I didn't mount the thermistor or photoresistor correctly. I mounted them close to the board. They should be an inch or so out, so they poke in those holes. But it doesn't matter. They're still doing what they need to do. So if we press button 2, it changes the pattern. Now there was one LED that wasn't working around the 10 o'clock area. There's now 2 that don't work. And there's a few that do, so for some reason there anyway. So that's everything on. That's everything adding up as it goes around. That's the same sort of deal. That it drops down one every time and makes its way around. That's just flashy. That just does that every time. And then we go back to square one. So that's it really. The video did end quite abruptly because the memory card ran out. Because I had to edit out loads of rambling. But that's the clock kit, £3 something. You'll see it back on the screen with the instructions and the parts list. £3.83, something like that. Not a bad little kit for the money. Made a few. I might make another one. We'll make it with the proper LEDs. See if we get all 60 going for a change. Dog's on a mission. His arse stinks tonight for some reason. I reckon he's been eating fermented apples under the tree again. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Shut up. No jumping.